Good morning, everybody. How are we all doing today? This is a 21 and over channel. If we're not over 21, please leave the channel now. Thank you. Just wanted to quickly go over some things in this episode. I'll start by just talking quickly, I guess, about what this episode will be. This episode will be like the glue between episode 1 and episode 3. So this will just talk about the things that happened in between and just what we've done, some of the other strains that we worked with, and just so that people can see what this product actually does for different strains. Now, what you see behind you here is actually a 4x4 section of a 4x8 table. So what I want to show you was this is what the end goal is going to be. Imagine a full warehouse end to end of 4x8 tables, because this industry standard is 4x8 tables. Everybody knows and can use 4x8 tables. So the other side of this table looks just like this, except it has other modifications that I've done that I can't actually show currently. But these tests that we've done on these ladies right here, so there's two different types. There's two God Buds and two Durban Sativas. Now there's actually 6 ladies in here in total. The two Durban Sativas are the singles, and then the doubles were the indicas. So regardless to say, this is what we ended up with, and it came out really well. There's other tests that are actually being done in here as well, including lollipopping. What I did is one of these was 100% lollipopped, as in all the way up to the top, and I can say do not lollipop all the way up to the top. Very bad. The second one was done 50%, and the third one was done 25%, and the fourth one was done with my discretion. And I can tell you the 25% and my discretion is the target area you want to kind of hit. And each one of these is a little behind each other for 7 days, but this is the most advanced. You can tell that she's already chunking out. Now I should mention that these are currently being grown under 450 watts of HPS, just because they're set up as 2 units of 450, so 800 total, but that's 450 for this one section and 450 for the next section. But that's just the test that we did on this, and then we'll hop into the next picture here. Okay, in this next shot you can see we have the flash on, and the amount of bud sites that you can there are actually set up per square foot, and how nice the canopy is in regards to height. So everything looks like it's right on target, especially once you start to understand your strains and you understand your work area. You can actually get your times down where you know how much time you need in veg before you need to flip into bloom, and that includes both sativa and indica dominant type of strains, because at the end there's going to be a medium time for all strains that you're going to get, which is an average. And no matter if it's a longer or shorter, the averages are what's going to kind of hit on what most people will actually get to. But this is a very nice illustration of how you want your canopy to actually start to be set up. Okay, so now that we kind of talked about what we kind of want, or what we've done with the 4x8 table, now let's just get caught up on yesterday's, or episode 1, and what we actually talked about, because I did talk a lot about vegetables and things like that. This is actually what I'm growing currently. This was actually picked 2 days ago, and you can see that would have been July the 20th, 2014, and you can see that this is what my plant looks like always, and you'll always see that there's a lot of similarities between cannabis and especially tomatoes. Now, one of the key things that I want to talk about is, yesterday I talked about taste and smell quite a bit, and it hits when you start looking at this and you start zooming in a bit. When you really look at it, what does this look like to you? All this right here. Do those not look like trikes to you? because right when you touch this plant anywhere on it, and it's even on the stem, all the way on the stem as well, all the way around. See, you can see it everywhere around here. That's your smell. That's your terpenes. Literally, this whole entire plant and cannabis are very similar in so many ways, especially once you start looking at the close-ups, and really when you grow and you smell the stalks and the stems and things like that, that will really show you a lot about your plant, especially roots. Like there's a whole section I should do on roots, because I mean, one of the things one of the easiest things you could ever do about roots and seeing if they're even good or not is smell. You take your roots, if you're in hydro, you put them to your nose. If you smell rotten eggs, you have root rot, and you need to start taking care of that. And it's very difficult. It's harder than what people make it out to be in hydro, where people are like, okay, you can just use things like H2O2 and other things that will just pretty much burn off your roots, is what they're going to do, especially your dead ones. Now, that's not what you're looking for. What you need to do is you need a recovery of your root system. And the only way you can do that is you need to, essentially, every day you need to come and change your res. If you can, twice a day. Once in the morning, once at night. And you'll notice that in your water, a bunch of floating root mass and stuff. That's all your dead roots that you're getting rid of. And then slowly but surely all your new roots will start coming from the top again, and they'll be bright white. And if they're not bright white, then yeah, you know you're still struggling. But these are my tomatoes. I have other pictures that are coming up of some of my tomatoes and cherry tomatoes, and we'll go from there. Okay, in this next shot, I just wanted to do a quick shot of my tomatoes along with my cherry tomatoes. Now, the cherry tomatoes on the right are what I'm growing, and there's so many. I mean, I can't even believe they're just falling everywhere. But what I did want to mention is, note the size of the cherry tomatoes. They are very, very large. Because normally they're not supposed to be this large. And also, I didn't mention quite a bit about, notice the green, guys, on every single picture, including in episode 1 and in episode 3, 4, 5, whichever episode, vegetable, let it be cannabis, whatever it is. Look at the green on the leaves, and you'll notice that they're always very, very consistent. Very consistent. Please note on this as well the terpenes and the hair. I mean, it's really nice. It's food. I enjoy my food, so I love to eat my food. This is what I grew. So, and I know I grew it with under 0.5% of fertilizer, and you can taste it. You can actually not taste it. But anyways, here's a quick little picture. On this next picture, I took a picture of a little more of some of the newer growth of tomato that's coming up right now. And you can see this is a section of 3, and there's a section of 4 in behind it. But this lady is so immensely heavy that even in tomato cage, I'm having a hard time just keeping her together. But you can see just how nice they're looking. Alright, this is a quick picture of my strawberry bush. This came from one seed, and it's already growing crazy. But I wanted to take this picture and just show you just some of the details of how at the very end there's like a little piece of hair coming out, and if you look at the stem, this is all smell, guys. When you touch this, what you smell is strawberries. On to the next. This is my green pepper plant, and I'm just showing you the start of just some of the green peppers that are starting. But please do note again the color of the green. And also I do grow okra as well, and I also grow peppers, Thai chili peppers, and I have a set of ghost chilies that are coming up soon as well, and maybe we'll show those off a little bit in the future. Okay, back to some ladies. Now this is God Bud. This is one of the God Buds that we saw at the start, and I just wanted to take a look at the resin profiles. And you can see the terpene and resin profile that it's really nice. This is God Bud. So this is the indica, and you can tell that they have the same type of I guess cherry type of top, where where they have a stalk and then the cherry trichome head, which is really nice. And even in some of the pistils are coming out really solid, no burns, really nice. And in the next picture, this is the early Durban sativa. Actually, you can tell just because of the way that the leaves look a little different, and it has thicker pistils and very thin type of leaf structure. But pretty much, if you look at the color of the green, very consistent to what our food was looking like as well. The trike production is really nice. You can see that they're very consistent in the profile as well, and they're always going to the very end. And these are the fan leaves, which is really nice to see. This is what you're looking for, some nice production. So in this next one, so this lady is the God Bud as well, just a different angle, and just wanted to show you that the resin's going right to the very tip of the leaves in all of on all of the leaves, the fan leaves as well. And let's see if we back out. Yeah, she's pretty frosty. But on to the next. This picture right here is of a autoflower. My seed, what I did is, it was an early auto, and I crossed her with a PKOG, and what ended up happening is I thought she'd actually become a photo period. The opposite happened. She became an auto. Like, straight up, it was an auto all the way from the start. So this is reseeded, and I have more seeds coming out, but you can see there's almost no pistils whatsoever. The color is very consistent with all of the other plants that we've grown. Very consistent on seeing how the trichomes are going all the way to the tips of the leaves. And normally in autoflowers, this is one of the things about an autoflower. See this indica leaf right here? Normally see how there's no trike development yet? And this is one of the common things about an autoflower, is that all of the fan leaves will never have any trichomes on them at all. But this strain, and with the way I grow, you can already see these little hairs right here. These will actually start turning into resin, and that's what you're looking for. So all this, I think, in the future will become resin. You see it right here? It's just starting, but look at the amount of resin that's on the actual bud itself. It's staggering. It really is. And this is an autoflower. And normally autoflowers are not supposed to have trichomes like this. And they're very small as well. But in the next picture, you'll see we'll start to take close-ups of this lady and start really looking at this autoflower and what Grow Big Bud does with autoflowers. Okay, so this is a picture of that early auto PKOG that I had made. Now, when you look closely into it, you can start seeing the trichome per square millimeter or per square inch is quite staggering. It actually starts to look like a photo period instead of an auto, because normally with autos, you don't get the resin or trichome development like this. You get the bud development mostly depending on what it is, if it's a small indica or if they made it into a mazar where it's a heavy sativa. But it all comes down to the fact that with autos, they just normally never ever have that massive trichome production. But you can see that this cross is just fantastic. And you can also see that it actually kept from the mom, it kept the auto, but from the father it went with the PKOG because it has heavy OG look to it, and all this purpling. Like, look at this heavy purpling that's going on. and the amount of trichome development is spot on with a photo period. And normally you don't see that with autos. And yeah, I was pretty impressed with this little lady, and it's just a small little lady about a foot tall, and it has a few seeds in it as well, and not very pistily. You can tell if you look around, there's almost no pistils, just a few here and there, but this was seeded. Okay, everybody, I know I didn't talk a lot about episode 1 and episode 3 and how it all links together, so I'm just going to try to do that real quick right now. So in episode 1 we talked a lot about the actual how it came together. In this episode I did touch on my vegetables and everything, so you can actually see the comparisons between everything. I'm trying to make I just want to show you what I see, so that you can see for yourself one day, once you start growing your own food, the pleasures, especially the taste of your own food. It does not taste like the stuff that you get in stores. It is 1000% better. But now that we actually I want to link up episode number 3, which is the early Durban sativa. So in between there, I went back to the dispensary that I got the 4 ladies from originally from episode 1, and they said, okay, we'll replace them. They said we will replace them with 4 new ones. I said, no thank you, I will just take 1. So I took that Bubba Kush and I grew her out with the early Durban that you saw there, and halfway through, guess what happened to her? Lo and behold, she was a hermaphrodite. So she got pulled right away, and we were left with the early Durban that you see there. So once we took the early Durban all the way to the end, I do have a small seeding area where I do seed and do breeding. And then what we're going to do now is I'm just going to do 1 grow of 1 plant, which is Godbud. She's already been in flower for 10 days, and we'll continue on. It is going to be in cocoa and soil, because it seems like that is what a majority of people actually grow in. So I want to do an in-depth look into cocoa and soils and things like that, and show people how to use this product and get these results. And with this first one, it's going to be Godbud, and once we get into it, we'll see how it all goes in the next month and a half. But see you guys in the latest episode, which will be the Godbud grow. Peace.